You're listening to Swift News, your daily news briefing in just 10 minutes. This is episode 11, and it's May 14th, 2025. Let's get into today's stories. We've got quite a mix today. Diplomacy, puzzles, some big moves in trade, and also some tough realities. A real snapshot.
It really is. And what strikes me, looking at the headlines, is how interconnected everything feels. A political move here impacts an economic policy there.
That's a good point. Let's start with India and Pakistan. India expelled a Pakistani High Commission official and did it within 24 hours. That seems fast.
It is fast, very quick. And it really signals, I think, a hardening of positions, even with ceasefires technically in place. An action like this, it shows how fragile things are.
Right, things could escalate quickly. You need to be aware of that if you're watching the region.
Exactly. And it doesn't feel isolated when you also see India's strong reaction to China.
Over the renaming of places in Arunachal Pradesh.
Yes. That and also blocking some social media accounts, like the Global Times X account. It keeps the focus squarely on these border issues, these sensitivities.
So territorial integrity and maybe information control are still front and center.
Absolutely. These define a lot of the strategic thinking right now.
Okay, shifting gears within India to the judiciary. Justice B.R. Gavai is now the 52nd Chief Justice. There's talk of reform. What should people look out for?
Well, judicial reform often targets, efficiency, making the courts work faster, improving access to justice for everyone. So keep an eye out for initiatives maybe around case backlogs, procedural tweaks.
Got it. Less positive news coming out of Nigeria, unfortunately. The Senate is urging troop redeployments in Borno State. Terrorism remains a huge issue there.
It does. And it's just a stark reminder, isn't it? These complex security challenges persist in many parts of the world, and the impact on ordinary people is immense.
Definitely. Okay, let's pivot to something that might affect you more directly, your wallet, perhaps. The U.S. has cut in tariffs on small Chinese parcels quite significantly.
Yeah, this de minimis threshold change, it's a big drop from, 120% down to 54%. That could actually mean noticeable savings if you buy smaller items online from China.
And at the same time, China's lifting its ban on Boeing planes. Is this a thaw in trade relations?
It certainly looks like a potential step in that direction. Lower tariffs, resuming aircraft purchases, these suggest maybe a slight easing of tensions, which could have wider economic benefits down the line, maybe more stability.
The markets certainly like the sound of it. India's Sensex jumped 1,200 points. That's quite a reaction.
Oh, absolutely. Markets love signs of improving trade relations. It fuels optimism about economic growth, so if you have investments, that kind of surge is definitely something to note.
And speaking of positive numbers, some big profit jumps reported. Party Airtel up 77% for the quarter.
An impressive figure, yes. And Hero MotoCorp also saw a good rise, about 6%, thanks to their premium bikes doing well.
So strong signs in telecom and the two-wheeler market in India.
It's to just robust consumer demand in those sectors, yeah. And that the companies are executing their strategies effectively. Worth watching if you follow those industries.
Right. Let's switch over to sports. Big night in the IPL tonight.
Could be. Rajasthan Royals are playing Chennai Super Kings in Jaipur. And for Rajasthan, there are playoff implications. A crucial match if you're following the league table.
Okay. Less happy news in badminton, though. Lakshya Sen had a surprising loss in the first round of the Thailand Open.
Yeah, went out to Ireland's Not Nguyen. It just shows, doesn't it? Sport can be so unpredictable. Even the top players have tough days.
High level of competition out there. Basketball fans, NBA playoffs.
Yep. Game 5 tonight between the Denver Nuggets and the Thunder. And the big news is Nikola Jokic is cleared to play.
Oh, okay. So expect a really intense, high-stakes game there.
Definitely. A key player back for a pivotal game in the series. Huge implications.
And finally, in cricket, looking ahead, the Ashes. England's team has arrived in Australia.
And Ben Stokes is fit to play. That's always big news for the Ashes. The anticipation, the rivalry, it's building already.
Always a massive series.
Okay.
Let's lighten things up a bit. Puzzles. Wordle number 1425.
Ah, yes. The answer was BONGO, B-O-N-G-O.
The double O apparently tripped quite a few people up.
It happens. Those less common letter patterns, double vowels, they can be tricky. A good challenge for the daily players.
For sure. Entertainment news now. Superhero fans, there's a teaser out for a new Nicolas Cage series.
Yes, Spider Noir. He's playing that version of Spider-Man. It's set for Prime Video in 2026.
Nicolas Cage as Spider Noir. That sounds Intriguing.
It does. Definitely generating buzz among fans of Cage and the whole Spider-Verse thing.
And for music lovers, Nine Inch Nails have announced a festival.
That's right. Future Ruins in LA this November. And interestingly, the filmmaker John Carpenter is also on the bill.
Trent Reznor and John Carpenter on the same lineup. That's a unique mix.
Very unique. Industrial rock meets iconic horror movie scores. Should be quite an experience for those who like that kind of sound.
Definitely different. Also on the cultural front, Preeti Zinta has spoken out on social media.
Yes, she raised concerns about gender bias in cricket commentary, specifically on X.
It's an important point, isn't it? About inclusivity and representation in sports media.
Absolutely. It sparks a necessary conversation about ensuring diverse voices and perspectives are heard.
Okay, let's turn to environment and science. A significant earthquake off Greece.
Yes, a 6.1 magnitude quake near Kaisos Island. Apparently, tremors were felt quite widely across the Mediterranean.
Wow. A reminder of the power underground.
Indeed. These events just highlight the planet's constant geological activity and the importance of being prepared.
On a more positive environmental note, India's monsoon seems to have arrived early in Kerala.
That's generally very good news, especially if areas have been facing dry conditions, crucial for agriculture, replenishing water resources.
So a potential boost for the economy and farmers there.
Potentially, yes. Always welcome news.
And looking further afield, space news. A new exoplanet discovery.
Yeah, about 40 light years away. And the exciting part is scientists have detected signs of water vapor in its atmosphere.
Water vapor. That always gets people thinking, doesn't it?
Always. It fuels that constant curiosity about, are we alone? Could there be life elsewhere? Discoveries like this keep pushing those questions.
Fascinating stuff. Back here on Earth, some important health data coming out of England.
Yes, new figures suggest that diabetes is a major driver behind heart fatalities there, responsible for about a third, I believe.
A third? That's huge. Really highlights the link between diabetes and heart health.
It really does. It underscores just how vital it is to manage chronic conditions like diabetes effectively to reduce the risk of these very serious cardiovascular problems.
Critical public health message there. Finally, let's cover some human stories, starting with some very tragic news from Amritsar.
Yes, just awful. 21 people died after consuming toxic liquor. It's a terrible situation.
Arrests have been made, including the alleged kingpin.
That's the report, yes. 9 arrests so far. Now the community faces the difficult process of healing and dealing with the aftermath. Just devastating.
Absolutely devastating. On a different note, causing frustration rather than tragedy, JE Advanced Admit cards had download glitches.
Yeah, apparently some technical issues were preventing students from downloading their admit cards for this major entrance exam.
The last thing you need when you're already stressed about exams.
Exactly. Adds unnecessary pressure during a really crucial time for these students.
But let's find some positive stories, too. In Baltimore, a teacher doing something great.
Yes, a really nice initiative. A teacher started a free coding boot camp specifically for low-income teenagers.
That's fantastic, giving them valuable skills, opening up opportunities.
It really is a wonderful example of community impact and empowering young people.
And one more story of resilience and support Vietnam's flood victims.
They're receiving international aid, which is helping them rebuild their homes and communities after recent flooding.
It's good to see that global cooperation happening when disaster strikes.
Absolutely. International support makes a huge difference in recovery efforts.
So quite a range today, from global tensions and economic shifts to scientific discoveries and very human stories of tragedy and hope.
A typical day in the news cycle, I suppose, covering the full spectrum.
That's Swift News for today. A look at the key events shaping your world, from trade winds to tremors, triumphs to tragedies. Join us tomorrow for another briefing. Stay curious, stay informed. This is Swift News, signing off.